didn't see you as a hummus man. That's interesting.
Oh. I go through a lot of hummus.
They cut the hard line. There's no time. You're going to have to get to another exit.
See, he's got a keys around here.
No time for love, Dr. Jones.
No time for
podcast.
I can't be bothered with that. I have no time for that sort of nonsense.
There's Jeremy Bishop. He's back. Boop, 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 boop. All right.
Everything.
How was your holidays? Good.
Yeah, no, they were good. I didn't do much, just around the house. Did you guys go anywhere? Just family stuff or?
Just my brothers and parents. Like we used to like do a bigger family thing a few years ago, obviously. But kept it small this last couple of years.
No, I went to Pete's for Thanksgiving and for Christmas, so that was fun.
Nice.
And saw Lucy. Lucy and I kind of reconnected. We had a bit of a falling out earlier this year over our political beliefs. So
sure.
we kept it civil. Pete said I did a good job. I gave her a hug. I wished her a Merry Christmas.
And you said F the orange guy?
Yeah. I just stayed away from her then. So and she stayed away from me. So we were all good. But yeah, no, I didn't do much. New Year's I went out. I think I was home by like 9:30 on New Year's. I went out for a drink.
Nice.
I get so paranoid out at social events now. Like I get so working in the public all week, it's just so hard to like actually spend more time out in the public.
Sure. But not at comic book conventions, you're fine?
I did okay. I didn't do so well on the Saturday of the convention. There was a couple times where Andy Larson was like, "You don't look so good," and I was like, "Yeah, I'm gonna go back to the hotel room."
I'm gonna tap out here.
But by 2:00 I went back and he and Aaron stayed, his cousin Aaron, they stayed out till like 5:30. And then I came and met them and we went and had dinner. But it was just, there was too many people on Saturday. Like Saturday is the biggest day. So, but Friday was fine.
Sure. Hey, Pete's back.
Pete's back. All right. I gotta go. I'm out of cider. I'll be right back. You guys continue.
Why did you join if you're just gonna leave? I don't understand.
Oh, what's going on?
I don't know what's on there.
I just brought down my dirty dishes and got some hummus and pretzel chips.
I didn't see you as a hummus man. That's interesting.
Oh. I go through a lot of hummus. I probably have one almost like the little single serves.
Flavored hummus or just regular plain hummus?
Not like the roasted or anything, just organic Kirkland's hummus.
Kirkland.
Mm-hmm.
Kirkland. So where did we leave? We left off on Spider-Man. Is that where we're at right now?
Yeah. What was the other? No, you said something else.
But generally right around
Cumberbatch.
Oh yeah. That didn't make it onto the podcast. That got Courier. It's pretty good. The lady from Mrs. Maisel's in that one as well.
Go on.
Yeah, she's I'm guessing a CIA agent of some sort.
Okay.
Or early CIA.
Yeah.
She's the American, and there's a British guy. I've seen him before and stuff, but couldn't tell you what his name is. And then there's Benedict, who plays the just like regular like business guy that goes to modern day Russia is probably the wrong term, but of that time period.
Okay. And
he's a business person and makes contacts and yada yada yada. Cold War.
Cold War. And
nobody family or friends knows he's working in it's pretty interesting. It's pretty good. He had to lose some weight for it at one point, and so
like machinist style.
Yeah, it looked pretty demanding at one point. He was also pretty good in there was a Netflix, I can't remember the name of it, but it was like a frontiers person.
The dog one? I haven't watched that one either.
That one's slower, but like he's pretty hardcore. You still there?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Sorry. Yeah. My since I'm recording on this side, like or transposing or transcoding something.
I'll leave you to the technical terms.
Yeah. Mine jumped there. So I'm trying to think what else. We talked about Dune, Spider-Man, Courier.
Did I hear when I was gone for a moment there though that Peter's eating hummus right now?
Yeah, he's a hummus man.
Are we sure that we're actually talking to Peter?
With pretzel crisps. It's that kind.
Is pretzel crisp the flat ones? The flatters?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, good. I do like it.
You have changed, sir.
Almost like a pretzel wafer.
This is not the Peter Martin from college. You have changed, sir.
No, I'm heavier.
But eating hummus somehow.
A little less hair.
On your body or on your head, top of your head?
I have more hair.
Huh?
More hair where?
In the nether regions.
I can't thank you enough for your time.
I think you meant the important regions.
Podcast canceled.
I did forget too, when talking about the TV shows. The one show I forgot that I really like. Handmaid.
There's no going back. What are you doing here?
Well, we did it with Jeremy, so we'll just drop this wherever. Good
Yeah,
drop.
you can do stuff.
You're causing an editing nightmare
Yeah.
because there's so much editing going on in this podcast.
What else are we getting paid? What else are we getting paid for?
Peter, it's the reruns though. 2.5 Men has been over for years.
Not in my heart.
Never. You really like the Ashton Kutcher episodes?
Yeah. He got paid like $1 million an episode.
That was the peak. What?
I think he got paid something like $1 million an episode to be like that last minute replacement.
Oh,
Just amazing.
that was pretty amazing. So what's your show you want to go back to?
Oh no, I just forgot about Handmaid's Tale. I forgot to put that on my list.
Well, that was definitely worth
That's
going
because
back.
that wasn't important.
Yeah, that's totally worth the extra hour you're going to spend trying to mix this up. So thank you.
That's not gonna The only other movie I had down was because it's related to the title of the podcast, is No Time to Die.
That was a decent movie.
Yeah,
I thought it was a good end.
Yep. Enjoyed that. I usually enjoy most of the Bond movies, so
Yeah, I mean, this is blasphemous, but I don't really care for the old ones. Really?
which old ones are you talking about?
Yes, just any of them.
Like Goldeneye?
GoldenEye's maybe like some of the Pierce ones are okay, but
How dare you? It's the best video game of all time.
oh yeah, we're not talking video games though.
Movie wise, they're fucking shit.
Yeah, I mean the
All right,
Daniel
we are ending the podcast here. Good luck.
I like the Daniel Craig.
Oh,
The
yeah.
Daniel Craig era was a good cohesive. I just watched them all before I rented off Redbox the No Time to Die, but I watched the other 4 over the weekend before, and there's a cohesive story.
Yeah.
Like, each movie is good on its own, but there's a great cohesive story across all 5 of them as well.
The only one that's weak is the second one, Quantum Solace. I thought was pretty weak, but I would agree.
It's really, in rewatching it, it's really not. I agree with you. It's the weakest of them, but it's not as weak of a movie as I remember it being. Having seen when I saw it in the theater, I remember not liking it,
Yeah,
but I enjoyed it on rewatch.
yeah. And there's a part of me that still thinks like the first one might be the best. I just really like the Casino Royale.
Yeah, that is the best.
Just so
the
basic.
best vibe.
It's such a basic. It's not all explosions and whatnot. It's nice and neat. How about books, old man? What's
Books
your
for me?
favorite that didn't
So-
include pictures?
Sure. So I have a hard time with books because I'm also forced to read technical books all the time. So I don't read a lot for pleasure ? So I really just put a shock thing in for Jeremy, and that would be Ready Player 2.
Okay.
I wanted Jeremy's reaction, and apparently it was like nothing.
I own Ready Player One. I think isn't that the first one? Is that the
Yeah.
Ready Player
Yeah, that's usually how the order goes. 1, then 2.
Well, I can't remember these things. I'm old.
You can't remember how 1 and 2 work?
Yeah.
Sequential order, dude. Sequential order.
No, I never. I own the first book. I never read it. I never saw the movie either. I know. I get the concept of it. I don't know. How's the second book? Did you read the second one, old man?
I mean, I listened to it.
Yeah, was it okay?
It's a lot like the first one.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think it's as good as the first one, but
No, it is not as good as the first one. But
for nostalgia references, all that fun. It's all right.
Yeah, I mean, I spent the last year. I started the Wheel of Time series again, just because that Amazon show.
Oh, did you?
yeah,
So I've been.
You have that on paperback or what? What do you have?
I have the first one on hardcover, and then I've only been able to find like the mass market paperbacks for the second and third one. You know, the ones that like fit in your pocket, kind of.
have you started watching the Amazon series yet?
I watched the first episode. I liked it.
Yeah, I watched the first episode too.
It was. I mean, it wasn't great. It was okay.
No.
I liked it fine.
I guess I didn't. I'm gonna jump back to TV series for 1 second. And
Whoa.
this
Oh,
it's not 2021. Apparently, it's 2022 right now. the last season of The Expanse is going on, and there's only 6 episodes, and they're kind of wrapping everything up. It's been pretty good.
I want to get into that.
I haven't gotten it.
I
I need
never watched anything.
I enjoy a good space battle, and they try to say the physics of the actual space battles are real-ish, air quotes, compared to like Battlestar or Star Wars or any of those. Like, there's actual space physics going on a lot of times.
Just
So-
the way it actually happened.
Yeah, and so the only thing that's super distracting for me is the accents of the Belters. Like, in the books is one thing, but like on the screen it's a little much.
Have you read the books?
Yeah, I've read some of the books. I haven't read them all. Like, I read the first 2-ish, 2.5-ish, somewhere around there.
Is there a lot? Is it a finite series, or is it just one they just keep going and going?
It is concluding. The TV series is shorter than the book series.
Okay.
Like, they literally introduced the big bad guy, like the next big bad guy in episode, what are we on, 6 or 5? In episode 4, and they're not going to, like, so I think they're going to do very much like The Walking Dead and have a couple of like post-movie kind of things afterwards.
Gotcha.
So,
Yeah, that's one I'll probably need to get into. I've heard good things
it is really good.
about it.
But there are some things to get over, but it is worth watching for sure.
Okay. Yeah, I'd say I read, this might be a surprise to you guys. I read a lot of like post-apocalyptic books and detective novels. That's mostly what I read. So like zombie fiction, as I like to call it. And then I'll read like, John Sanders.
You just have weird words you use for romance novels.
Yeah. I read books with a lot of T and a lot of A.
Fabio,
Torture and
model for the painting on the cover of my books.
so what's your book of 2021 then, or 20?
I'd say the one that didn't fit that genre, like, because a lot of them like series that are long-standing series with certain detectives. I really liked Hail Mary by Andy Weir, who did The Martian.
Nice.
That was, some people, I don't know, like that book, I flew through it. It's my type of novel from like a sci-fi. I thought it was I really liked it. I like, there's only 2 books of his. He has a third one too. But yeah, definitely The Martian and that I just flew through. I like them a lot. And then I read Foundation. I never read that. I read just the first book. So I might try to get into those after Apple Plus put out the, a season of the Foundation based off Isaac Asimov's book.
Is that out now?
Oh yeah.
The whole series is out. I haven't watched it yet, but I look forward to.
I started it and thought maybe I'll read the books first. So I got like 3 or 4 episodes in. But it's the reading the books. I'm like, I don't know. I don't understand how they're going to make a series that will be engaging to people, because it's such a massive time period and multi-generational.
The Wheel of Time kind of feels that way too. Like, it seems.
At least it's the same characters though, right?
Yeah.
I mean, in the Foundation, in the first book, I mean, they go over, there's like 4 different times with like hundreds of years potentially between them.
Yeah.
That's one book. So it's like, I don't know how you're going to get people interested. The same characters won't last.
Yeah.
Kudos to whoever pitched that one and got it approved, because I don't, even if it's super well done, I just don't know how many people it can drag in. But
Jeremy, what do you got for books?
The only book I've been reading this year is "It Can't Happen Here" by by Sinclair Lewis, which was written back in the 30s, and it's about a guy becoming president who turns the United States into a fascist state. It's just very telling of the times.
Of the 30s.
Yeah, and it was written in the 30s. It's strangely prescient for what's happening in politics in the world right now. It's depressingly but it's good. It's well written. I'm enjoying it. I don't know of any books that came out this year. I've got a Warren Ellis book, who's a comic book writer that I like, but I think that book came out the year before. But it's in my stack. Comic book wise, I'm reading all kinds of stuff. X-Men's really good. I actually bought this guy Jonathan Hickman, who's a great writer. Has written this great series, this run on this series of X-Men. And I got his last 2 issues today at the comic shop when I was out there earlier. So I'm very excited to read those, because it's kind of like not the conclusion to the X-Men, obviously, but the conclusion to his run. So see where that goes.
If you want any references or recommendations, probably a better term for like zombie novels, let me know.
I don't. But go
I'll
ahead.
just send them to you anyway. No, it's weird. I shouldn't say weird, but I tend to find a lot of books on like Amazon, like the Kindle Unlimited. That's where I read a lot of. I just find a lot of stuff on there.
Zombie related.
Sometimes, yeah, it's like you can go to the library and find like a whole shelf on zombie fiction. You always have to add fiction. Just sitting there on the shelves.
Are you saying zombies aren't real?
I'm saying I read about zombie fiction. So you can make any other correlations or assumptions you want.
So if I were to go to your library and just
my library is my phone for the most part.
just grab, but say you were to go to the library, and if I were to go to your library
Mhm.
and grab a zombie book and move it over to like the nonfiction section, and then you were for some reason, whatever reason, you decide to look in the nonfiction section and come across the zombie book, would you be thrown off by that? Would you be like, oh my God,
Zombies are real.
zombies
Yeah, I'm type A. So I'd be like, well, hey, technically this is classified as zombie fiction. We might want to like move it out of this area. So
I'm big into rules and categorization.
that's just the guy I am. Like I'm a guy that's
I guess that's the bigger question. Would you panic, or would you have a very stern conversation with the manager of that
honestly
library?
I'd probably reshelf it myself because they're busy. I know where it should go. I'm capable.
And your
I
name
worked
is
for a year.
Doomy.
Yeah.
We did. Peter and I both did work in the library system at one point in our lives. So
Mhm.
we were both Minitex employees, which is
Work-
technically library employees.
You worked for the man. You were in the system.
We're in the system, yeah.
I think if you work for the man, pretty much. But yeah,
I
So-
mean, you could be independent. You could, work
That's-
for yourself. I mean, if you're a man,
I couldn't work for myself.
you could be the man.
that wouldn't work out well. As for me,
because you'd barely
yeah,
Can you get back to work, Peter?
yeah, the laziness, it would be untenable, that situation.
I hear that.
I didn't have anything to add for music. I don't
Because
listen.
you
to
listen,
music.
you listen to nothing the last 20th century,
Well,
21st century.
Yeah, 21st, not so much.
You
If
stopped
the-
listening to new music in 1997.
Yeah, early 2000s. 2000s was probably pretty safe. Yeah.
I would say the only thing for me for music for 2021 was Taylor Swift on Saturday Night Live. It was great. The one, she had one song that was like 10 plus minutes.
Yeah.
It was great. It was I think it's the breakup with Jake Gyllenhaal song.
Yeah.
It's the rumor. Yeah, the speculation.
And I loved Colin.
Stop spreading rumors.
Colin Jost on the news talking about the only lesson from that is don't ever break up with Taylor Swift, or she'll sing about it for 10 minutes on national.
Yeah. Yeah. I watched
It was a good performance. I mean, it was intense. I don't mind the T Swift.
I for shits and giggles, I had no idea like about that song, and after I heard that she did like a 10-minute performance and then they released a video, I watched the video, and then I was kind of creeped out because I like Stranger Things, and like the redheaded girl from Stranger Things was the love interest was like the Taylor Swift in it. I'm like, isn't she like 14 or something? I don't know, but made me feel creepy.
I think that might have been true at the time, though, too. She was pretty young at the time.
Yeah, I mean, I think the math checked out that she was like 19 or 18, 19, and Jake was
Older.
30.
Yeah.
It was not. It was not.
It was not. And yet, still not, in the Marvel universe at that point.
Yeah, that was a brief voyage into there for him, but
Yeah.
effective.
Peter, did you listen to something that did come out in 2021? Van Weezer?
Van Weezer?
Yeah.
What's Van Weezer? Does that answer your question?
Yeah, that answers my question. You have homework now?
Is this Weezer with a different singer?
No, it's Weezer doing covers, and some of them are Van Halen related.
Oh my goodness.
It
Really?
is an album called Van Weezer.
Let me grab my pencil.
Bookmark this. They also had I don't remember what the other name of their album. They had 2 albums come out in 2021.
I had no idea.
So there's that one.
A couple songs I liked, well, probably more from 2020. They released Patience, and then another song by Chris Cornell, and I didn't realize those were ultimately put on a cover album posthumously for Chris Cornell, which
Yeah.
I just read the story because his daughter was on some show and performed one of the songs. So I'm like, okay, well now I have an actual like album released in the last 10 years. I want to go find.
I could look it up with what the other Weezer album is. I can't remember, but there are like 3-4 songs that were decent off that.
I mean, considering the time they took off from like the mid to 90s to like early 2000s, like they seem to
no
really
shit.
a lot of
Yeah, that's
albums
crazy.
now.
The Black Keys had a few decent songs that came out. There was an album called Delta Cream that was decent, and then the Foo Fighters also had an album called Medicine at Midnight that came out in 2021.
Yeah, even I love Foo Fighters, but even there, I find it hard to like. All right, I have like 5 or 6 albums of theirs. Like, it's hard for me to emotionally like invest time in.
No, I think what anybody does nowadays is listening to the 4 songs that are like nobody listens to the whole album anymore.
Yeah,
So you gotta only invest in the singles that come out, and
but that's not fun. I like listening to whole albums.
because you're an old man.
They tell a story, old man. They tell a story.
They used to, but
Yeah.
almost all the bands now don't even release albums. Like these
No, and
bands
that's
that I'm
the
talking
point.
about released albums, but anybody that my son or daughter listen to, they're releasing singles and don't even
Yeah,
bother.
they still up singles, and the concept of the album is not what it was back in the day.
There's only like there's a handful of people that are doing albums anymore, really.
Yeah, and they're all old people.
Yeah.
People from the album days.
Yeah. So what do you have for favorite podcast for 2021? What do you listen to?
Let me go back to the music just for a moment and say my.
Sure.
We were talking about Weezer. It was interesting because recently Sarah messaged me, my ex. Her oldest daughter Edith, who's 14 now, is getting into music, and she's getting into Weezer. We were talking about Weezer, and she asked through Sarah to me. She asked for my favorite Weezer song, like my top 3 favorite Weezer songs, and I sent them to her, and none of them were like radio songs. They were all from
What were they? Give me a taste. I want to see if you're right or not.
He's wrong, but let's go.
It's Peter will of course love one is the My Name Is Jonas, of course.
Yep.
Since
Good job.
his children are named after the song.
Kind of.
You have a son named Jonas?
Kind of, yeah. I mean, they have names. And then off of Android, Slob
That's a good one.
is one of my favorite. And then off of the Green Album, why am I losing it's song 10 of Slob. Hold on.
Please hold.
I got to look it up. But anyway, I'll tell you in a second. But my point was, I don't know what my point was.
It was amazing.
Your point was it was yeah.
Oh, Simple Pages. That's the Simple Pages.
That's a good one. Yeah.
That's a good song.
Those are my 3. And then the idea being that now I remember my point is that these kids, they listen to just the hit songs, whereas I remember listening to the full albums, and like I found these songs. These were not the radio songs off of any of those albums. These were the songs that I found and I loved off of buying those albums because of radio songs.
Jeremy, you named no songs off of Pinkerton, and I'm very upset right now.
Yeah.
Well, I know that's because Pinkerton is something else. Like Pinkerton is its own thing. Like I always just that's its own entity on its own. Like it's just something beside itself.
Yeah, the whole Pinkerton, like almost none of that was on the radio, and the whole album's amazing, right? Like that's the stuff they just, I don't know. Yeah, like
You can't pick a best song off that album. Like
Yeah, you can. It's called Across the Sea.
I was gonna say Across the Sea or Pink Triangle, but yeah, your point is well spoken. That
Or El Scorcho. It's pretty great too.
or just think of Appetite. Like if kids only knew the radio songs off Appetite for Destruction. I mean, how sad would that be?
Yeah.
No Rocket Queen? Are you kidding me? Come on.
Peter, the other album of 2021 Weezer is called Okay Human. Check it out.
Okay.
No.
Anyway,
Sorry,
I apologize for
podcast.
Jumping back. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I'm sorry, Bruiser. Go back to your story. Yes.
No. I'm done. I'm done with my story. I just apologize for.
That story was short-lived. We
Take it.
hijacked it, but yeah.
No. Podcasts are good.
So I don't listen to podcasts. I don't listen to the radio. I don't. I listen to podcasts a little bit when I walk the dog. A history one that Steph had told me about. She listens to podcasts way more, but I'm not in the car a lot. Or if I am, I'm in the car for like 5 minutes, just driving to practice. Or I have kids in the car that maybe don't want to listen to a podcast. So I
You ever just tell them shut up and I'm gonna listen to a podcast?
no, what I do is I'm continually working to hook them on 90s alternative and yacht rock and hair metal, like hair rock. So, and it's working so far.
Tell them I'm sorry.
With Axel, like Axel can sing along with the song by Pablo Cruz, Love Will Find a Way. He can sing along with the Flies, Got You Where I Want You. I mean, what else can I ask for? Smartness. Smart stuff we've done it like 2 or 3 trips to like visit her dad in Iowa, and we've listened to some Smartless, and that was I like that conversation.
Podcast. Yeah, I like that one.
Yeah.
What do you got, Jeremy, for best podcast?
I mean, I listen to a lot of, like Alex Jones and Mike Lindell.
Well, what's the comic book podcast you made me listen to?
Oh yeah, no, I listen to my Wizard podcast. It's Cartoonist Kayfabe is the name of the general podcast group. It's the guy Jim Rugg and I'm losing the other guy's name right now. I really enjoy him. I don't know why I'm blanking on his name. But yeah, no, they're guys about my age, and they just read through old issues of Wizard magazine, which is the comic book magazine that came out back in the 90s and early 2000s. And they literally just flip through it page by page and talk about having read it as a kid in comic books. And it's
occasionally they'll also talk about like certain issues of comics and like describe the artwork and different things too. Like I've a handful. It's pretty interesting.
Yeah, it's a fun show. Like I listen, I do something we call clerking, which is reconciling the previous day's business at work. It takes me about an hour to do, and their podcasts are about an hour. So I usually listen to it when I do that because I don't have to, I'm just adding and subtracting numbers when I'm clerking. So it's like I listen to that podcast to kind of like distract my creative side of my mind while I do the numbers. Yeah, no, they're fun. I mean, it's my era too. It's when Andy Larson and I that's when we were reading comics when we were kids. Is the late 90s, and there's a lot of weird dumb shit that went on, and it's fun to like hear them talk about it just because it's nostalgia. It's just nostalgia.
It's a big warm fuzzy.
Yeah, it's big warm fuzzies.
Yeah.
That does drive a lot of my likes these days is nostalgia. Or just when you had the time to actually get into that stuff more.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's how you know you're old.
And just waking up and being in pain because you slept wrong. That's another way.
That's pretty great. That's good stuff.
It's like when you wake up in the morning and you're like, well, shit, I didn't die last night.
Not again.
I got to go through another day.
How dare you?
First thing I do is grab the Kleenex and just weep softly so I don't wake up my wife.
No, I cry into my pillows quite often. Just silent weeping into my pillows.
I mean, mostly I listen to a lot of comedy podcasts. Todd Demer, oddly enough.
Why is he laughing?
What's that?
Why is he laughing?
Let's ignore the depression issues and just move on to more podcasts.
I am not your therapist, Jeremy Bishop. You did not pay enough for this. You wanna Venmo or PayPal me? We can delve deeper into your.
Yeah. Or if you want to call me next time you're within like 2 miles of my house, cool.
If you want a real friendship and not a podcast friendship,
then we'll dig into this.
Is this getting too real right now? Pay me money.
Anyway, Todd Demeret's podcast. Yes.
Yeah. Sorry you're so rudely interrupted, old man.
Right before the do we call it the panty or the demic or what are we calling it? The last.
I like demic.
I never heard panty.
Panty droppers.
Not a big advocate of that one.
Todd and I went to Acme Comedy Club and we like sat in a live recording of a podcast of 2 local comics. That was not the name of the podcast is escaping me. Middle of Somewhere. I get like pulled it back right now. Chad Daniels and somebody else. Now I'm gonna feel bad. I'm gonna edit right here and put his name.
Yep.
Drop it in. Everyone be quiet for a second.
Everybody, I'm putting it right in.
Di Amundsen.
I can't. But it's not my podcast of the year. It is very enjoyable. Middle of Somewhere. 2 Minnesota guys. One one guy lives up north, and the other one just recently moved. Long story short, he's had a lot of health issues. He moved to Cincinnati to deal with some of those things, and so he's had a lot of like pandemic kind of issues because he's got like a autoimmune disorder, and he's dealing with that. Cy Amundsen, that's his name. Pretty funny guy. But my podcast of the year is We Might Be Drunk. It's Mark Norman and Sam Morrell. They're in New York, and Sam did like a rooftop like early in 2020 and 2021, like did a YouTube series, or not series, but a YouTube documentary, and you can see him doing comedy at the beginning of all this shit. Shit.
Yeah, we're still here.
And it's actually really good. Like, it's free. It's YouTube. Go watch it. Like, he's got like drone shots and all kind of weird stuff. He's on top of some of the most, beautiful shots in New York in the middle of all this. And it was actually kind of like one of the better things to see.
Yeah.
But they do a podcast called We Might Be Drunk, and they pretty much.
We might be drunk. I'm gonna write this down because otherwise I'll forget it. So
Yeah.
What's that got to do with the camera? Why are you shoving the camera?
Yeah, don't touch the camera.
I'm looking for my pen.
We might be drunk.
We might be drunk. All right.
And they'll make you, like, every time I listen to it, they make me laugh. The other one with Chad Daniels also makes me laugh. So I listen to a lot of comedy just because I'm driving the kids back and forth, and mostly on the way back, not the way to school, because they swear a lot. So.
Yeah. You don't want your kids to hear that because they probably never get it at home.
Yeah, I'm not a swearer, so they would never heard that here, motherfucker.
Your wife, on the other hand.
Yeah, she's got a potty mouth.
I've been meaning to talk to you about that.
Yeah. She won't stop texting me all the swears.
She's teaching you new ones. So can we move on to, because I was kind of interested in where we go after this, in your responses, but the Hall of Fame, right? Kind of revisiting the certain topics from before, but not limiting to 2021. TV series. Old man, do you want to give us a rundown of, just try to keep it to, like, let's say 3 to 5 for each of the topics, unless you can actually pick one, in which I'd be amazed.
That's like, I have a problem every time the kids ask me what your favorite X is, like favorite band or favorite TV or movie. I have the hardest time like saying my favorite of all time. So
what I mean, Nickelback comes up so often.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Stop.
I mean, it's not so much Nickelback, but like Sublime.
Chad Kroger. Oh yeah. Okay.
Wait, Chad Kroger had to do something with Sublime?
Yes.
Yeah. He was backup vocals.
Yep. You learn something new every day, dude.
Once a photograph. I don't know how that song goes. Photograph. That'll be the song at the end of this podcast. Photograph.
I love it.
I'm not going to say I know the song, but you got the lyrics wrong for that one line you did.
Well, please sing it, please. All right. Favorite TV series of all time. I think the biggest influence on my TV watching. I don't watch a lot of comedies anymore. I mean, like, I watched early Office and those sorts of things, and Parks and Rec and different things, and really enjoyed them. But like the things I watch more science fiction than anything at this point. I have no idea why, but like it's the thing that usually draws me in. And so all I remember is watching Lost, and we had a book club at work that was meant to be about programming and different things that we were doing, but all we talked about was the latest episode of Lost and all the theories that we had. And this was like not pre-internet, but like
it was the early stages, right?
Yeah, it was early stages. It was pre, like, people, we would talk for a half hour to an hour just about Lost, and then finally get to like that chapter in the book that we were working on. So Lost was big, and then shortly after that, Battlestar Galactica on Sci-Fi. Like I would go back and watch that now. Like, I've watched it 2 or 3 times, and it probably still holds up for me.
And that's a commitment too, because that was I remember, I think
5 or 6 seasons, but like
it's
I
like
totally
73 episodes at that 50 minutes a piece. Like it's a
haul, but like I enjoy the first 4.5, 5 seasons, and then I just truck through at the end.
Yeah,
most of the time. And not that I love how Lost ended or anything. Let's be clear.
You're human, so
But that's where it started for me, like really getting deep into TV shows. How about you? We have less than a minute, so probably gonna have to click the link again.
should we just do that?
How do you do 45 minutes again? Jesus.
Stop talking so much, Jeremy Bishop.
Yeah, I guess I ramble.
Do we want to take a little break to get water and take a pee break?
Yeah,
Mhm.
let's take a break.
All right, we'll take a little break and we'll
5.
fiver.
5.
High five.
Wait.
3, 2, 1. Bye bye.
How are we still here?
I don't know. Peter said end.
All right.
Look at this photograph. Every time I do, it makes me laugh. How did our eyes get so red? And what the hell is on Joey's head? This is where I grew up. I think the president owner fixed it up. I never knew we ever went without. The second floor is hot for sneaking out. And this is where I went to school. Most of the time had better things to do. Criminal record says I've broken twice. I must have done it half a dozen times. I wonder if it's too late. Should I go back and try to graduate? Life's better now than it was back then. If I was them, I wouldn't let me